Caucus. Arizona Congresswoman Debbie Lesko. Congresswoman, it's great to have you on. What is going on with Arizona's border? Is a tide shifting toward your state? And what's Arizona doing about it?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. And yes, it is shifting over to Arizona and California. Tucson sector of Arizona has the most activity in the nation. And so this is a huge problem. It's a huge crisis. Unfortunately, we have a Democrat governor, Governor Hobbs, and she's not really doing a darn thing about it except begging for more money from the federal government to educate and give health care and that type of thing to illegal immigrants. So the Democrats just have a totally different attitude, including President Biden. They like open border policies. Republicans want the border closed.
Yeah, so the president, he said repeatedly he can't do anything to fix the border. Now the White House is leaking to the media, Congresswoman, he might do an executive action. He faces re-election. He still will not cancel his nearly 100 executive orders that fueled the border collapse. He doesn't need a bill to fix the border, Congresswoman. He just needs to enforce the laws on the books. He also said members of Congress who visit the border are doing it for photo ops. He only made one visit to the border. It was like a drive-by more than a year ago. When he's been in D.C. since the 70s, what do you think?
Well, you know, President Biden could have fixed this right now. He could fix it right now. If you look at what President Trump did, he really decreased the number of people crossing the border. In December of 2020, under President Trump, there were 74,000 crossings. If you fast forward 3 years under President Biden, December of 2023, there were 302,000 crossings. No laws have changed. It's because of Biden's open border policies. And now he's seeing it in the polls. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if he would try to pacify people and say, oh, I really care about the border. But he doesn't, because all of his actions are for open border policies. And listen, if he really cared about the border, have him pass H.R. 2, push him to do it over in the Senate, and he can sign it, because we passed that in the House months ago.
And the other thing, too, is what's really happening is international theft rings, retail robbery gangs run by illegal immigrants flooding into blue week-on crime cities and states like New York. We're seeing it in Chicago, L.A. We're seeing home invasion gangs, too, on the West Coast. Now, the NYPD is warning that these illegal immigrant robbery gangs, they're stealing phones, they're breaking into Venmo and Zelle accounts to clear out bank accounts via the phones they steal, and then they ship the phones overseas to be sold. You know, Walmart and Target each $500 million in retail theft losses last year. Human trafficking, drug trafficking, the cartels are making money on the level of a Fortune or Forbes, 100 company. So when you see those facts, do you think the American voter is waking up to what the president did, igniting and fueling this crisis nationwide?
Well, I certainly hope they're waking up. The polls are showing that people trust Republicans much more to secure the border. And this is happening in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is a high-scale area. There's these crime rings going on from South America, and they're burglarizing people's homes in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Got it. Congresswoman Lesko, pleasure to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Sure. Coming up, the New York Post, John Levine, Treasury Secretary Janet